Hello everybody, and welcome to our Christmas special. I'm here with the guys. I got Six and Garak with me, the most favorite of people.
A holiday special that has nothing to do with holidays.
Nope. It has nothing to do with holiday. Video games. It's literally just the fact that it happens to be the end of the year, so it's kind of time to summarize the year, you know? That's just what we do, though. And you and I did this last year, and we didn't have Six with us, but now Six is joining us, so... You know, welcome, Six.
It is an honor.
You're going to be a part of the nonsense.
It is an honor.
If we're gonna,
it should be an honor for you.
We're also going to need your rings and amulets.
Yeah, all your gear. You got to pay us. Oh. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about our 5 games. We did it last year, 10 games, because we have 6. We're bringing it down to 5 that we thought were the best games of the year. Descending order, so starting from 5 and going down, and then at the end of the video get a little special kind of like review of the year. We'll throw together a montage of everything that we've done on the channel, because it's been a pretty good year for the channel, and I've really appreciated, you know, all the work that you guys have done with me, but especially, you know, all the support from everybody who's been watching. So starting with me, we'll start with my top 5 game, which to some degree is a bit of a surprise for some people, but I think WildStar deserves a spot in my top 5 list. Despite all it's been a really good game year for games, if you ask me. I mean, a really good year. But WildStar got on that list for me simply because I think it's the best MMO combat I've ever seen, and it innovated so much on the end game with such good and difficult end game that it is on my top 5 list. What about you, Six? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Civ Beyond Earth. Now, this game, why I have it as 5 is because it's not as good as Civ 5 is, in my opinion, but I still do spend a lot of time in this game, and I just can't help myself from clicking that damn button for the next turn.
Just one more turn, man.
Just one more turn. So that's why it's number 5.
What about you?
My 5 is actually a 4. Samurai Warriors 4. If anybody's very familiar with the Warrior series, this one came out this year, and it took a lot of like the really good ideas of the Warrior series to kind of like a new level with innovations to combat and like weaponry, and they gave us like a true like creative character mode with a very like interesting like custom character story that kind of was dynamic and changed a lot, so it kind of like broke up a lot of that like monotony of just having the story mode plus like a mode where you just like meet officers continuously. And so it changed a lot of stuff for the Warriors series, and I hope that going into the future of the rest of those games we'll continue to use stuff like that, because I felt like it was a really strong addition to the Warriors family. So yeah, Samurai Warriors 4.
That's kind of unexpected for me, because I never played that game, so I like hearing what your guys' top 5 are. So 4 for me is probably no surprise to anybody, but it's Alien, because and simply because of the graphical fidelity of that game. They've accomplished something that I didn't think was possible at this point in time, but it's a game that runs incredibly smooth at really, really high fidelity, and the game is pretty good by itself. I mean, we've expressed our issues with the AI, but for the most part, it's the graphics on that have made it to number 4. What's your 6?
My number 4 is a little bit weird, but it's the South Park Stick of Truth game. I am a huge South Park fan, and I like RPGs, and this was just gold for me. It's not the best RPG, but it certainly is funny as hell, especially if you like South Park. This is a good one. That's why it's
yeah, you know, I agree with that. I liked it. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the South Park humor. However, the game itself I felt like was fun as an RPG. It's very
it definitely is. Alex, what's your number 4?
For my number 4, which is maybe controversial, is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
It's not controversial.
Besides, well, just because technically it's kind of an old game, but the expansion came out this year, and we've all been having a blast with it. It added a whole bunch of new stuff that breathed a lot of life into the game again for us, and it's been a very emotional roller coaster, going from we love it to we hate it, we don't want to play it anymore, back to we love it. And Reaper Souls really helped a lot of that. And granted, as an expansion, there are a couple things where I'm kind of like, maybe could have added more stuff and, you know, done some additional work with it. But, I mean, for what we got, it was absolutely, I believe, worth it, and at least worth a spot on the top 5.
Yeah, I would agree. That's on my. If I had a 6, that would be on my number 6 because they did such a turnaround in that game. It's worthy of a lot of praise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But another Blizzard game happens to be on my number 3, which is a game that, while it was in beta last year, technically came out this year, which is Hearthstone. And it's pretty obvious. I don't really need to explain why that's on my top 5. I will say, though, it is the best pooping game ever. You know, you sit down and you get a match in, and it's usually about, right? It's just funny because I'll message you. I'll be like, hey, you want a game? And you're like, I'm busy in the
and he knows
office.
What I mean. He knows
what I mean. So the answer to that question would be yes?
Yes.
It's a game I literally play every day, so it's definitely on my top 5. What's your 3, 6?
We are showing a lot of Blizzard love here because my number 3 is
are
also one of Alex's choices, which is Reaper of Souls. Just on the basis that I spend so much time in this game and I get so much value out of it that it has to be on my list. I just get a lot of play time with it, so it's definitely got to be in there.
Yeah, I could see that. What's your 3, Alex?
My number 3 receives the Garak seal of approval. It is Bayonetta 2. If you know anything about me, you know I am insane for character action games, and Bayonetta 2 is Hideki Kamiya's magnum opus, once again outdoing himself to add more features and multiplayer somehow into Bayonetta, in addition to like all kinds of insane costumes and new levels and difficulty modes and just all kinds of stuff. Just taking the Bayonetta formula, improving upon it tenfold. And it's just, if you're a fan of character action games, why aren't you playing it right now?
Yeah, you know what's funny is that game is one of a handful of games that got a 10 out of 10 on GameSpot. They usually don't get perfect scores, but what they said is it's as close to perfect as it can get. And I haven't played it, but I really want to. I mean, and the fact that it's on your list makes me want to. It's perfect. It's literally perfect, as much as perfect can be. So my number 2 is I argued with myself a lot whether it should be my number 1 or my number 2, but it's actually Dragon Age Inquisition. Now the reason it's my number 2 and not my number 1 is because while I have put over 200 hours into the game since it came out in November and it's December, I feel like that there were just some issues that held it back technically, like with the game not running necessarily well because of driver issues and like this 30 FPS lock that you could unlock if you do things about the Frostbite engine. But it was just like a few little nitpicks that I look back in retrospect and go, that really killed my enjoyment of the game. But the game itself is the best Dragon Age game in my opinion. I think it's better than Origins. It's got better combat. It's got better characters and story. Because a lot of those characters from Origins are in it, but definitely a glorious game nonetheless. So what's your 2, 6? I'm really curious about this one.
Well, my 2 is also your number 3, which is Hearthstone. And it's on there for the same reason that Reaper's on there, is because I play it so damn much. And I even became one of those people that actually spent money in the game. I became one of those people.
I know.
And I'll have you know
everybody does
that I even bought the wrong packs when GVG came out. I was one of those people as well. $50, all the wrong packs. So that's why.
At least you already needed some of those cards.
I know. That's why at least I got some people. Yeah, at least got something out of it. But still, I felt like, oh my god. But yeah, that's my number 2.
And you?
So it wouldn't be a Garak list, right? Unless at some point I was like, it's like Dark Souls. So my number 2 is a number 2. In that it is Dark Souls 2.
How clever.
That was very clever.
I'm just full of it. In more ways than one.
You're full of number 2.
Yes. So, if you don't know about Dark Souls 2, 1, stop watching this and go watch my Let's Play. And 2,
nailed it.
Buy Dark Souls 1 and 2, and then play Dark Souls 1 and 2. I mean, it's one of those games that resonates like super strongly with me, and I'm a missionary for Dark Souls everywhere I go, and I try and convince as many people as possible to play it just for like the sheer achievement value that you get, not like game achievement, but personal, like I beat it achievement, because there are so few games that make you feel like you actually earned your victories like they do in Dark Souls. And with the addition of all the DLC and the kind of like special edition Scholar of the First Sin for next gens coming out next year, it's a very like rounded out, more complete experience now, and the DLC is like some of the strongest parts of the game. So at this point, it's definitely like one of the most solid games I've ever played to begin with, and it can only go up from here. Bloodborne 2015.
Do you think that the original Dark Souls was better than Dark Souls 2, or are you on Dark Souls 2?
So there's a dividing line that I draw between the two, in that it's Dark Souls 1 in terms of like world building, I feel like is superior, but Dark Souls 2 like functionally and mechanically, like as a game that like how it feels and plays is better. So if you
okay.
And which is why I kind of try and get people to play both, because Dark Souls 2 is my first, and I really like the way it handled, and going back to Dark Souls 1 was harder for me.
Right.
But I liked everything in it, and it was, it's just like a world full of mystery. If you like the original Zelda, and it just drops you in, and it's like, hey, explore, and there's a cave. Maybe it's got a sword in it you can use, and a creepy old guy.
Yeah, you talk about that game a lot, so I'm not surprised to see it up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
He got me to convert. He got me to convert.
Yeah, you got it.
I bought Dark Souls when it was on sale for $5 on Steam sale. Ready to get my
$5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of gameplay out of that. Well, let's move on to our number ones, because this is like the most important one,
yeah.
right? And this is why I say it's been such a good year for games, because I mean, every game we've listed this far, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, that was a good game. But this one in particular, for me, it might not necessarily resonate with everybody, but it's certainly my number one, which is Transistor. Glorious game.
I was trying to preempt you by saying, don't say Bastion.
It's not Bastion. It's Bastion's older brother, who has grown up and matured, which is Transistor. And I don't really need to explain why it's on there, but I'm going to, because it's a glorious game and it deserves recognition, which is the fact that it's gorgeous. It looks so good. Supergiant and their art style, man, it's so good. It runs well, which is important to me. The soundtrack is super good. I think the soundtrack for Transistor is a lot better than Bastion. I really like the Bastion soundtrack, but Darren Korb did a much better job the second time around. It's got kind of like a drum and bass feel to it. Really love it. And then the story is the best that I've seen all year, because it's at the end of the game, it leaves you wanting to play through again, because it gives you that like, wait, what moment, where you're like, wait, what just happened? Hold on, let's go back, let's play through again. And then you catch everything the second time, what it's referring to, and all the like the little tiny details, and it just blossoms into a really, really good game. Plus the combat, I think it's different than Bastion for sure, but I think it's a lot more complex because of all the different ability combinations you can have, especially on your second time through playing New Game Plus. So definitely my number one. Everybody should buy it. If you haven't played it, you need to play it now. It's short, it's really good, and you'll love it. So 6. Drum roll. What's your number one?
My number one is Middle-earth's Shadow of Mordor. And
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's not I can see how it wouldn't be everybody's favorite, but let me just say that slaying orcs and orcs has never gotten old. The whole time I've been playing, it's so glorious to kill enemies in this game. And between the Nemesis system, the fluidity of all the movement and the combat, it's awesome. And I've got a lot of playtime in it so far, and I haven't tried any of the DLC yet.
I was actually going to harp on the fluidity of the combat and the Nemesis system, the Nemesis system, I'm also a huge fan of 6, and
Oh,
experiencing a lot of that myself. It's just like it's very cool to be able to kind of like play with the ranks and like
Oh, yeah.
see
branding
your guy,
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
go back and forth and like transfer and see how these guys get further and further up and whether or not they get like weaknesses or more strengths and stuff, and it's all very interesting, and I feel like it could be expanded a whole lot.
I was just
in
gonna say
future
that.
types of games.
I was just gonna say that. I hope they expand it into other games, that not necessarily other genres, but just it could go in a lot of other games too. So that's why I'm really excited for it, and that's why it's my goal. So,
And you're not the only one that believes that. I was just checking. GameSpot gave it Game of the Year as well, which is
wow, did they?
I mean, it looks like it deserves it.
Did not see that.
Yeah. I personally haven't had too much time into it, but from the gameplay that I've seen and the little bit that I've played, I've enjoyed it. So I'll agree with you on that. But let's move on.
It wouldn't be a top 10 list if Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't my number 1.
Oh, like I said, I debated over it being my number 1.
Somebody had to do it, and it might as well be the coolest member of the group, me.
Oh, cat.
Dragon Age Inquisition, hands down. I mean, I too also have embarrassingly over 200 hours. I'm on playthrough 2, and I'm almost done with my second class, and I'm planning 2 more in my head with, a healthy dose of insanity somewhere in there. So,
Yeah.
if I go missing for like 6 to 8 months and come back from like a South Polynesian island, that's what happened to me.
And a giant beard.
From the soundtrack to the combat to the characters to the story to just the events that happen in the game, it's just blindsided by amazing action set piece after amazing like dialogue set piece and character set piece and environment set piece. It looks incredible, it plays incredible. It's everything about it is just incredible. They crafted an entire world, and you even get to play with it beyond the bounds of the game. I mean, they're like, okay, so we can't give you your save, so here's the keep, and you can just do whatever you want. And that level of just like being able to craft that story, I think, is like one of the coolest things that's ever happened to video games. Because we've had stuff like this before where it's like, oh, here's the Telltale game about The Walking Dead where you get to make choices and kind of craft a story, but this is like you go back game after game and craft all these things that kind of like affect how people talk to you and how the world is, and it all like culminates in this like very unique story that you get, in addition to being a beautiful, awesome, well played game with an incredible soundtrack.
Yeah. See, well, this is the thing with Inquisition is it's a game that once you've gotten a certain ways into it, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but you can say to anybody who's played it, the dawn will come, and they will literally get nerd chills every time. And that speaks a lot to it.
And it doesn't even stop at the single player, because they seem to have taken the formula from the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer and worked it into Dragon Age kind of setting, and it works fantastically. It works so well, and if they support it at all like they did the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which they supported for a year, it will be tremendously fun to continue to play up until the end of this game's life and or the next one comes out. I think it's easily deserving of a number 1 spot. Game of the year.
I agree.
Garak out. Drop the mic.
Yeah, it's really good. So we have one more game to mention. This is just a quick little because we have a list and things are bound not to get on it. We figured we'd add an honorable mention, and mine in particular was just added today. And you guys both haven't played it. I tried to get Six to buy it, but it's Endless Legend. And I think Endless Legend is literally better than Civ.
You did try real hard.
I did try real hard. It's I put 300 turns into it the other day, and it was a time vampire, and time went flying
Just
by.
One more turn.
But
I know that pain, brother.
It's so good. It is so good. And they did Endless Space, and I'm a huge fan of Endless Space, and it's got some of the same kind of systems that they got going on there, but I feel like it's literally better than Civ 5, and that's really hard to beat because Civ 5 is so good at the moment. But I think that they took a lot of chances on some systems, and it's totally worth it. So if you guys see it on sale, pick it up. What's your honorable mention? If you have one, even, Six.
I do not really have an honorable mention. There's too many other games that I play all the time.
That's fine.
There's just too many.
You're also a busy man. You're preparing to get married. Like, we understand.
Yes.
So, okay, well, who cares about your honorable mention? Because you don't even have
I'm not
one.
important anyway.
Exactly.
So, I grappled with my honorable mention for a little while, and it's between two games that are both, like, technically awesome, but they seem to be only in the realm of, like, what I truly enjoy. And the two of them that I have are Legend of Korra and Borderlands, the pre-sequel. And so I decided eventually on Borderlands, the pre-sequel, because The Legend of Korra is a game that kind of only really applies exclusively to me. And I'm sure there are people who also like it, but it's a platinum game, character action. So it's just kind of like my niche thing. But I think in overall general terms, Borderlands, the pre-sequel gets my honorable mention because I feel like Borderlands is a strong game in and of itself, and Borderlands pre-sequel is very strong and very good in and of itself. But it definitely like lacked a lot of the stuff that Borderlands 2 had, and so we're all still kind of confused about it. But we're hoping as more DLC and stuff comes out, just like Borderlands 2, that it'll get more and more strong as time goes on, and it has gotten a bit stronger. But it didn't quite make the list because there's just so many other amazing games this year that we played. So shout out to Borderlands pre-sequel, definitely worth looking into if you're considering it. Honorable mention.
Cool. So that wraps it up for our games that we really enjoyed this year. And we've had a really good year on the channel, and I've mentioned that before, but seriously, we did some really, really fun stuff this year that I was looking forward to do. And, you know, we have a lot of really cool stuff planned coming up, like you and I, Alex, we're planning on doing Don't Starve together, which I think that will be really fun because you've never played the game and I'm kind of a veteran, so it'll be a good little thing.
Yeah, I literally know nothing.
Oh man!
So look forward to that.
Yeah, so we've got some a lot of really fun stuff planned for this next year, and we're gonna go really heavy into Heroes of the Storm and some other stuff. But I wanted to give you guys, because you guys haven't really seen this, you don't really get the opportunity to, some numbers on the channel, which is it's pretty fun. So the first thing is that this year we got just under 700,000 views, which is pretty good total. And we have, oh gosh, where is it at? We have 4,652,672 minutes watched. That's crazy.
That's not a lot. Jeez.
So that I just did the math on it. That is 3,231 days.
Wow.
Whew. And that's roughly 9 years. So this year alone, we've had people watch a roughly 9 years equivalent of video that we've put out, which is crazy. That's crazy. I'm really it blows my mind. Currently, we're at an incline of our views, and if it continues, which it will, because this is everything constantly is kind of going up. But as it continues this year, we'll get roughly 500,000 minutes watched per month, which if that equals out and with the fluctuations, it'll be about 11 years worth of watched time next year, which is crazy. And that may even go up more. But that's if we continue at our current pace, but it's bound to go up. So that's a pretty cool number. Here's another one. These are just like the 5 most increased views on video. So my HK51 guide that I put out long ago is almost at like 80,000 views, but this year alone I got 26,359 views. The player guide for the classes, the beginner classes for Star Wars, got 24,408 views this year. I did a how to make credits like a long time ago, and it got 18,759 views, which is pretty cool. And then it kind of goes down. It goes to the character creation for the player guides, 11,621. And then finally, the player guides for the fast leveling was 9,665. And it just kind of continues on that trend all the way down.
And Dark Souls 2 finale, 12 views.
It's got more than that. It's got a lot more. And just a couple more interesting numbers to check it out. Our demographic between male and female has roughly gone kind of unchanged since last year. We have about a 90% male viewership and a 10% female, which is very in average for a gaming channel. So it's kind of cool that we have our female viewership. We love you.
Hello, lady.
Ladies, single, wink. And then finally, if I can get it, our demographics as far as countries are concerned, it goes United States, UK, Canada, Sweden. Ooh, that's a surprise. Where'd Sweden come from?
Love me some Swedes.
Please tell me our one female viewer is from Sweden.
Please, RNG
more than that, mathematically. But then we have Australia, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, Poland, Norway, Belgium, Hungary, France, Finland, Brazil, Russia, Romania, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Portugal, Spain, Singapore, Ireland, Mexico, and Serbia. And that's on our like top 10, 20, something like that, which is kind of it's kind of a cool list. Sweden, who would have known?
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to wrap it up and move on into my little montage that I'll put together for you guys. I just wanted to say thank you, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts for watching our videos. It blows my mind that so many people leave really nice comments. And the people who leave mean comments, they never come back anyway, so we don't really care about you bastards.
Nope.
Then you're probably not watching this video if you're leaving mean comments. And then just the overwhelming amount of response that we've gotten to do additional videos in the future. It motivates me, and I would love to have you guys again more next year, and maybe we'll have a few other people. Who knows? Things are only going up, and I really enjoy it. There's another really good year coming for the channel, and hopefully another really good year in video gaming. But with that, I'll let you guys say your goodbyes, and then I'll close this out.
It's been a good time. I had a lot of fun playing Alien Isolation and Diablo. I hope to be back a lot next year. So have a happy holidays, everybody.
Look forward to a bunch of new stuff coming on the channel for next year. I've got a couple things lined up myself that Zen and I are working on, and it should be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Dark Souls this year, and I know that in the future, going forward, Bloodborne 2015 Game of the Year is coming out soon, so we'll be looking into that.
Cool. Well, with all of that being said, we shall see you guys next time. That's,
I bid you welcome, mortal. I am the Lady of the Forest.
Yep. You are not wearing a lot of clothes. Can't help but notice. Also, that looks like it would be painful. Those roots, major chafing would happen. And then what do? Probably this. Whew. That wasn't a bad turn. I think I did that fairly well. I think there was a better way to do the whole which one I used, either the Yeti or the Commander, but you don't have me dead yet, buddy. You know, when I went to the hospital because I literally burst my side open from laughing because those episodes were so funny. We didn't actually lose that footage. That was the trade-off I made. It's like a deal with the devil. I got authority, but in the process, I had to give over the funniest episodes ever.
You traded our footage, man?
I know. It's kind of like that Tenacious D song. So let's talk about what the job of a tank is. The job of a tank is to keep threat on enemies, keep bosses on you, keep everything attacking you, and keep them off of party members. Now, this is going to be a little contradicting, but your job is also to take as little damage as possible. I know that sounds kind of funny because you want to have everything on you, but you want to take as little damage as possible. But this allows healers to keep you alive, and it keeps their job a lot easier, which is really nice. You know, that really sucks having to do this all over again, but I think I learned my lesson. We have enough fuel to orbit Eve and then find a suitable landing spot, but I think the main lesson I learned was not to quick save whilst I'm already in the atmosphere. Let's grappling hook all the way up the side. Okay, so get a good look at the roof here. It's actually really quite cool. It took me the better part of 3 hours to complete because I had to place each individual thing in order to get it working properly.
Just give it to me.
Just does not look pleased.
Junk, junk, junk. Look at all this junk. Shit, shit, and more shit. Why you ain't got nothing good?
Because it's the apocalypse.
But there is one last change, which is arguably the most important change. The level up voiceover now plays with a higher priority over quest and other types of VO.
Oh snap! That was awesome!
So I think, theoretically, I could end the game right here. Like, I could go, this is the path to the final boss, and I could go down here and I could do it, but I'm not going to quite yet. There's some other stuff that I wanted to do.
They never learn. Looks like the Duke has fallen from grace.
Ow!
Street should be packed.
They should be, but they aren't. It's quiet. Too quiet. Ooh, what's this? I should have known.
What Sith trick is this? I would have known if such darkness resided within him.
My sacrifice for nothing! Stupid child!
Ooh. Okay, brakes. Ooh, oh, no, okay. Whoa. Oh, I made it! Oh, I made it! No! No, I didn't make it! Oh, jeez! Oh!
Oh! Oh my god!
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. Obey me. Arrow in my face. So, you followed the notes well enough. Glad to see you're... And you're an elf. Well, hope you're not too elfy.
She's gonna be disappointed.
It's all good, isn't it? The important thing is you glow. You're the herald thingy.
Yes.
Sure, why not? I glow. What's going on?
No idea. I don't know this idiot from manners.
See if I can get him to mill himself. Yeah, take up your turn. Heal your guy. Take up your turn. Take up your turn, heal your guy. Heal your guy, take up your turn. Take up your turn, heal your guy. Come on. Heal him. Heal him. Do it. Take up your turn, heal your guy. Come on. Come on. There to there. There to there. Come on, baby. Here, there to there. Come on. Heal him. Heal him. Do it. Dang it. I don't... Oh,